Be me, 27 years old, living the dream in downtown Chicago. Head bartender at Velvet, the kind of place with a rope line 3 blocks long and a bouncer who checks your shoes before he checks your ID. Making cash hand over fist. Tips alone are more than most of my friends make in a month with their fancy degrees. Lifestyle is pure adrenaline. Wake up at 2 p.m. Gym, gotta keep the aesthetic tight. Shift starts at 8 p.m. Party ends at 4 a.m. After party until sunrise. Rinse and repeat. Felt like I was the main character of the city. Knew everyone. DJs, promoters, the girls who run the bottle service, the cops who turn a blind eye to the double parking. Had this theory about the suits. The corporate drones who came in around 11 p.m. Loosed ties, tired eyes, trying too hard to look like they were having fun. I looked down on them. Aggressively. Saw them as wallets with legs. They'd order Mac Allen 18, try to flirt with the hostesses, flash their Amex Black cards like it meant something. I'd serve them with a smirk. Take their money, give them the cool guy nod, and laugh about them with the other bartenders, while we did shots of Patron behind the well. Look at this guy, I'd say to Leo, my barback. Probably spent 10 hours staring at a spreadsheet today. Now he thinks buying a $400 bottle makes him a player. Leo would laugh. Sad, bro, totally sad. We own the night. And I believed it. I really believed that we were the free ones. We were the pirates, the rock stars. The suits were just the villagers paying tribute. There was this one regular. Thomas. Mid-40s. Always wore gray bespoke suits. Quiet, polite. Never ordered bottle service. Never chased the girls. Just sat at the corner of the bar, drank a gin and tonic, watched the room. I tolerated him because he tipped 50% every time. But I pitied him. Thought he was lonely. Thought he came here to soak up a life he couldn't have. One night, it's 2 a.m., place is a zoo. Bass is shaking the bottles on the shelf. Strobe lights cutting through the smoke. I'm in the zone, flipping shakers, pouring 4 drinks at once. Girl at the bar, 10 out of 10, red dress, looks like she stepped out of a magazine. She's been eyeing me all night. I give her the wink, slide her a drink on the house. She smiles, leans in. You're the only real thing in this place, she says over the music. Ego goes through the roof. I'm invincible. Thomas is watching from his corner. Just a faint, unreadable smile on his face. I look at him and think, eat your heart out, old man. You can't buy this. Fast forward 6 months. The cracks start showing. Woke up one Tuesday with a cough that wouldn't go away. Back pain from standing 10 hours a night in Chelsea boots. Looked in the mirror. Eyes were bloodshot, skin looked gray under the bathroom light. Checked my bank account. Cash came in fast, went out faster. Clothes, dinners, Ubers, favors for friends. Had 0 savings. Literally 0. Rent in the loft was due, and I was short because I blew $2,000 on a weekend trip to Miami with a girl who ghosted me the second we landed. Management changed at Velvet. New owner, some kid from LA with daddy's money. Wanted to refresh the vibe. Started hiring younger bartenders. Guys who were 21, shirtless, willing to work for half my cut. I got called into the office. We love you, man, but we're moving in a different direction. You're a legend, but we need fresh energy. Fired. Just like that. Walked out into the daylight at 4 p.m. Squinting, headache pounding. Felt like the city was laughing at me. Spent a month trying to find another gig. Every hotspot wanted 22-year-olds. The dive bars didn't pay enough to cover my lifestyle. Panic set in. Real, cold panic. Sat in my apartment, watching the dust motes dance in the light. Realized I had no skills. I could mix a perfect old-fashioned and talk to anyone for 5 minutes. But I couldn't use Excel. Couldn't code. Couldn't manage a project. I was a court jester who just got kicked out of the castle. Ran into Thomas at a coffee shop 3 weeks later. I looked like hell. Unshaven, wearing a hoodie, scrolling through job boards on my cracked iPhone. He looked exactly the same. Calm, gray suit, reading the Financial Times. He waved me over. "Haven't seen you at the Velvet," he said. I tried to play it cool. "Yeah, took some time off, exploring options. Too much drama there, you know?" He looked at me over his spectacles. Didn't buy it for a second. "I need a client relations associate," he said simply. "Entry level. The pay is reasonable, but it's a grind. 8 a.m. start, heavy on the logistics." I laughed nervously. "Me? In an office? I don't think I'm cut out for the cubicle life, Thomas. I'm a creative." "You're broke," he said. Voice wasn't mean, just factual. "I see the way you're looking at the menu prices. You're good with people. You can read a room? That's transferable. Come by the office Monday." I went, mostly because I was 3 days away from eviction. The building was glass and steel, cold, silent. Everyone moved with purpose. No music. No flashing lights. Just the hum of HVAC and the clicking of keyboards. I felt like an alien. Put on a suit I bought at Zara. Felt like I was wearing a costume. Thomas gave me a desk. Gave me a phone. Gave me a list of names. "Call them. Set up meetings. Don't sell. Just listen. Make them feel important." The first 3 months were torture. Waking up at 6:30 a.m. felt against the laws of physics. Sat under fluorescent lights that buzzed. Stared at spreadsheets that made my eyes cross. Missed the adrenaline. Missed the attention. Missed the girls looking at me like I was a god. Here, I was nobody. The associate. The guy who fetched the coffee during the partners' meeting. I hated the suits even more now. Saw them up close. Their banal conversations about golf handicaps in private schools. Their obsession with quarterly earnings. Thought they were soulless robots. Wasting your lives chasing a number on a screen. Kept telling myself this was temporary. Just get some cash, then go back to the nightlife. Maybe open my own bar. Yeah, that was the plan. Show these boring losers how to really live. Then came the gala. Company's annual charity event. Big deal. Black tie, held at the Ritz. Thomas told me to come, work the room, make sure glasses stay full, handle any fires. Essentially, I was a glorious busboy. I stood by the wall, watching the crowd. Felt that old arrogance creeping back. Watching these stiff guys in tuxedos trying to dance. Watching their wives make polite, icy conversation. Thought, I could turn this room out. I could get everyone dancing on the tables in 20 minutes. Then I saw it. The shift. Thomas was in a corner with 3 other men. I knew who they were from the news. A senator, a tech CEO, and some guy who owned half the real estate in Chicago. They weren't talking about golf. They weren't talking about schools. I drifted closer, pretending to check a tray of champagne. The air around them was different. Heavy. Electric. Thomas was speaking low. "The zoning isn't an issue. We moved the debt to the shell in Delaware, leveraged the infrastructure grant, and the council will fold by Tuesday. I already spoke to the mayor's chief of staff." The senator nodded. "If you handle the union pushback, I can guarantee the permit." The CEO smiled. "Done. That's a $400 million play." They clinked glasses. Casual. Like they were discussing what pizza to order. My brain stopped. 400 million. In a 30-second conversation. I looked at Thomas. Really looked at him. This quiet guy who drank gin and tonics. I used to think he was a loser because he didn't have cool stories or tattoos. I realized in that second that he moved the world. While I was busy playing King of the Night at the bar, thinking I was important because I decided who got into the VIP section, Thomas was deciding where the subway lines went. He was deciding which neighborhoods got built and which ones got bulldozed. I was playing checkers. He wasn't even playing chess. He was designing the board. I felt small. Microscopic. All my power as a bartender was an illusion. I was just the entertainment. I was the court jester thinking I ruled the kingdom because the king laughed at my jokes. The realization hit me like a physical blow. I went to the bathroom and splashed water on my face. Looked in the mirror. Saw the Zara suit. Saw the tired eyes. But for the first time, I didn't see a cool guy temporarily embarrassed. I saw a guy who had been asleep for his entire 20s. Went back out, watched the room differently, saw the subtle nods, the power dynamics, the way people positioned themselves. It wasn't boring anymore. It was terrifyingly complex. It was high-stakes poker played with invisible cards. I started working harder. Stopped treating the job like a penalty box. Started listening to Thomas. Really listening. Asked questions. Why did we pivot on that merger? How did you know the market would react that way? Thomas saw the change. Started mentoring me for real. Taught me how to read a balance sheet not as math, but as a story. Taught me that boring is where the money is. Excitement is inefficiency. Drama is lost profit. 2 years later, I'm 29, promoted to junior VP, making more money than I ever did at the bar, but it's direct deposit 401k health insurance. Bought a condo. Not a loft in the party district, but a quiet place near the park. Wake up at 6 a.m. automatically now. Go for a run. Read the news. One Friday night, the team goes out to celebrate closing a deal. Big deal. Acquisition of a logistics firm. We go to the vault. Ironic. It used to be my competition. We walk in. Skip the line, because Thomas knows the owner, of course he does. Get the best table. I'm sitting there in my tailored suit, not Zara anymore. Sipping a scotch, looking around the room. It looks frantic, loud, desperate. I see the bartender. Cool guy. Long hair, sleeves of tattoos, jawline for days. He's flipping bottles, winking at girls, looking like he owns the universe. He comes over to take our order, looks at us with that familiar smirk. The "I'm better than you corporate drones" smirk. I know it well. I wore it for 5 years. "What can I get for the gentleman?" he asks, dripping with condescension. Barely making eye contact. Checking out a blonde girl over my shoulder while he waits for us to speak. My colleague orders a vodka soda. I order a Macallan. The bartender nods, turns away, laughs something to his barback. Probably calling us suits. Probably making fun of my tie. I watch him work. Sweating. Running back and forth. Dealing with a drunk girl screaming about her lost phone. Dealing with a guy trying to fight the bouncer. Fake laughing at a joke from a promoter who clearly hates him. And I feel this wave of sadness. Deep, profound sadness. He thinks he's free. He thinks he's the main character. He doesn't know that in 10 years his knees will be shot. His liver will be scarred. And the world will have moved on without him. He's trading his youth for applause from people who won't remember his name in the morning. Thomas catches me watching the bartender. Raises his glass slightly. "You miss it?" he asks. I look at the bartender again. King of his little 1,000 square foot kingdom. Trapped in the amber of eternal adolescence. "No," I say. "I really don't." We finish our drinks. I leave a massive tip. 100%. Not to show off, but because I know he needs it. I know he has no savings. I know he has a rent payment due. And I know that one day the music is going to stop. Walk out into the cool night air. Silence of the street feels heavy, real. Check my phone. Email from the lawyer about the contract for Monday. It's boring. It's dry. It's tedious. I smile. Call an Uber. Go home to my quiet condo. Sleep for 8 hours. Dream about spreadsheets. And never felt more alive. 6 months later. Company sends me to a conference in Vegas. Supposed to be networking. Really just an excuse for the industry to burn cash. Staying at the Wynn. Walking through the casino floor at 1 a.m. Suit jacket over my shoulder. Tired, just want to get to the elevator. Pass by one of the high-limit blackjack tables. See a commotion. Security guards swarming. Some guy is yelling. Do you know who I am? I know the owner. I bring the girls. Voice sounds familiar. I stop. Look closer. It's Leo, my old barback from Velvet. The one I used to make fun of the suits with. He looks rough. Puffy face, hairline receded, wearing a t-shirt that was cool in 2019. He's drunk. Sloppy drunk. Trying to fight a security guard who is twice his size. "Sir, you need to leave the premises," the guard says, bored. "I'm a legend in Chicago." Leo screams. "I run the scene!" Nobody cares. People are walking by, glancing for a second, then looking back at their phones. He's not a legend. He's a nuisance. I stand there, frozen. Part of me wants to step in. Help him. Pay off the guard, get him a cab. But I don't. Because I realize there's nothing I can say. He wouldn't listen. He'd see the suit. He'd see the haircut. He'd call me a sellout. He'd say I lost my edge. He gets dragged out, heels skidding on the carpet. Still screaming about how important he is. I watch until he's out the doors. Turn to the elevator. Next to me is a woman, maybe 50, expensive jewelry, sharp eyes. She saw the whole thing. "Sad," she says. "Some people never figure out the party is over." "Yeah," I say. "They just keep waiting for the beat to drop." Elevator dings. I get in. Press the button for the 45th floor. Doors close. Silence. Perfect, beautiful silence. Back in Chicago, a week later, Thomas calls me into his office. View of the lake is gray and steel. "We have a situation with the property on Well Street," he says. "The tenant is defaulting. We need to go down there, assess the assets, see if it's salvageable or if we liquidate." I look at the file. Address is familiar. 1400 N Wells. My stomach drops. It's the vault. The club where I used to think I was a god. "I know the place," I say. "Good, handle it." I drive over at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. Places like that look like corpses in the daylight. Smell of stale beer and bleach. Floors are sticky, even when dry. Neon signs are off, exposing the dust and the cracks in the plastic. I meet the owner. The LA kid with daddy's money. He looks exhausted. Twitchy. "Market shifted, man," he says, pacing. "Gen Z doesn't drink as much. Rent hiked. It's just bad luck." It wasn't bad luck. It was bad management. I walk behind the bar. My old station. Wood is chipped. Taps are dirty. I run my hand along the rail. Remember standing right here, laughing at Thomas, thinking I had it all figured out, thinking the world revolved around how fast I could pour a shot. Now I'm here to evict the memory of myself. "So?" the owner asks. "Can we restructure?" Dad says he won't put another dime in. I look at the numbers on my iPad. Bleeding cash. Liabilities exceed assets by 300%. Brand is dead. "No," I say. "We liquidate, auction the equipment, break the lease." He crumbles. Literally sits on the floor. Head in hands. What am I gonna do? This is who I am. I look down at him. No pity this time. Just business. "You'll figure it out. Or you won't." I walk out. Call Thomas. It's a gut job. Total loss on the current operation. But the location is prime. We can rezone for mixed-use retail. "Good," Thomas says. "Start the paperwork." I hang up. Stand on the sidewalk. Watch the cars go by. See a group of guys walking down the street. Young, loud, laughing. Talking about where they're going tonight. Talking about girls. Talking about being kings. I check my watch. 11:30 a.m. Got a conference call in 15 minutes. Adjust my tie. Get in my car. Merge into traffic. Just another gray car in a sea of gray cars. Invisible. Powerful. Awake.